think the message is that if you are reporting or saying anything that's not in line with what the Communist Party in China, they're willing to take extraordinary measures to remove you from the public view and your ability to continue to speak. I think that's the message. But it's not a surprise. I mean, that's been the way they've operated for a long time. It's an issue of life or death, and it's a disease, and so I would hope they can. I don't want to turn this into a political issue, but I believe that there are real questions about how responsibly they've handled this. I think in many ways what we're seeing, their reaction raises real questions about whether the Chinese Communist Party is prepared to lead China into becoming a responsible global power. I mean, a responsible global power shares viral samples, shares information about its true origins, shares information about best practices, so that the rest of the world can work collaboratively to address this threat. And instead, they seem more focused on saving face. They seem more focused on their international image than on actually dealing with the threat posed by this disease. And, it's very concerning, especially the number of cases. What could happen if that virus mutates into something even more dangerous? Well, I don't think this incident alone would be, but I think it's an example of why totalitarian regimes and progress are not compatible in the long term. I would imagine there are a lot of global companies right now starting to think about whether China is actually a place that you can invest in from a business perspective long term. Because, as you're seeing, when something like this happens, they can't be relied upon to act in a responsible way, and that puts at risk billions of dollars potentially of investments and so forth. So, and this also calls to mind that the issue of free speech isn't just one about political freedoms. It's about the public's right to have information so they can react appropriately to it. And in free nations and democracies like ours, we have a lot of information out there, and it can be uncomfortable for those who are in power to have it out there. And but it's not just the right thing to do from a political and human rights perspective. It's the right thing to do from a public safety and security perspective.